You could ideally take this business and go anywhere, $200, $300, $700, $800 a day, and keep them rented almost every day of the month. We're never short of people who want to rent.
Hello, my name is Sherry McWaring. I'm here today with Ethan Earhart, who is owner of Knights Exotics. Thank you for meeting with me today.
Thank you.
We're excited to share with you more about the car rental company that he has built. It's very exciting, and we wanted to give you a showcase of kind of a little bit about the history, why he built it, some things that you can keep in mind as you're considering purchasing it from him. So why don't you tell us the story behind the car rental business? What inspired you to start it?
To be really honest with you, I never wanted to get into it. It wasn't something I had thought about, and I do think quite a bit about various businesses, but I've had a couple of friends who've been very successful in this field. One of them's even from Minnesota. He moved to Las Vegas to open a very, very, very large one. In fact, one of the largest. And so for about 2 years, I studied what he was doing. He would give me tips, show me how everything worked, the ins, the outs, basically everything that you can't Google or learn in a book. So it was really insightful just for me to understand the industry, because when it comes to business, vehicles are normally looked at as liabilities, not assets. So to turn something like that into an asset, it takes a unique perspective on the entire business. And I think understanding it is the biggest part, because most people say, hey, these are nice vehicles, oh, there's maintenance, there's this, there's that. There's a lot of stigma that goes into it that is just, I guess, passed around through just kind of hearsay. So until you know, it's different. So once I learned, it caused me to kind of take a look at where I was living. Could I provide something like this? Is there a market? And I found out there's a pretty big market here in Minnesota. So
that's an interesting thing that you've discovered, because I don't know if I would have expected that because of the seasonality. These vehicles you don't really want to be taking out in a snowstorm.
That's true. It's very true.
So, but that's good though. There's enough you found the corporate business to be kind of the primary customers, correct? Tell us about your customer.
That's correct. We funnel a lot of clients initially through Turo. There are people on this platform who look for specific vehicles. If you go to Enterprise or Avis or Hertz or somebody like that, you're going to spend a couple $100 a day on a mid to large size vehicle, whereas you could potentially rent an exotic car for right around the same price. So when someone goes to rent something, would I rather spend a little bit of money and have something nice, or am I going to spend a lot of money on something I don't really need? So when you have something that you want and it's going to be roughly the same price, that's where we compete. We come in and we're able to draw the clientele that would normally look for just these vehicles. So having just these, they're not going to a rental agency hoping they have one of these. They go right to us because they know that they're available. So a lot of corporate clients are able to write this off for travel, business adventures, things like that. So there's a handful of ways we're still working on gaining more clients, but the ones that we've initially received were those specifically who rent these types of vehicles on a daily basis.
Okay, interesting. And it's interesting that it's comparable in price. Is it going to somewhere else? Might as well get a nice car.
This is true. Also, the great thing about renting these is you don't have to take them home. You don't have to worry about storing them, working on them, things like that. So we're never short of people who want to rent.
Okay.
And it's not just executives. It's sometimes people who just want to go to a ball game and have something nice to drive there, or if they're going out or something. So we do anywhere from 1 day to 30-day rentals.
Okay.
So it's...
I suddenly had a flashback to many years ago when I was in college. Some girls and I were traveling to another state to help with some election stuff, and these two young men were in a Camaro, and they had rented it at the airport, and they were from Norway. They were going across the country for a month, and so they wanted a nice car to do that with.
And it's always fun, Mm-hmm. It's a good time. I mean, you're always going to strive to do fun things in life. So whenever you get the opportunity to do something affordable for a few days, why not?
Exactly. No, I love it. So why don't you tell us about the vehicles themselves that you have in your fleet?
Well, we're starting with two vehicles that have always had a bad reputation for one reason or another, but the name itself stands out, and when people see the logo in the vehicle, it turns heads. Every time you come back from a rental, everyone raves about how exciting these cars, and if we're willing to sell them each car to like the person that's rented it. On the business side, we want those people to keep coming back, which is great, and we do. But we started with 2 Maseratis. Maserati Gran Turismo that has the V8 Ferrari F136 motor in it, and then the Levante, which is the SUV, which is in one way is very much a sports car that looks like an SUV. It has fully adjustable suspension. The sport mode on it is unbelievable. It pushes almost 500 horses. You know, it's a quick thing. We started with 2 great looking, head-turning vehicles that captivate. We had a BMW in our fleet recently. We ended up getting rid of that for next season to start adding on and getting a few more great vehicles.
Okay,
So
well, that's great. What can you share with us about how the business has performed for you? Any revenue growth trends that you have, or anything else you want to share?
this part is actually real interesting. So we started in the end of June. And when I say the end of June, I want to say like the last week is when I flew to Florida and picked up our Gran Turismo, drove it back. That was the first one. We had that one in rotation only since mid-July roughly. So it's been a few months. We added the SUV, the Levante, at mid-August, and both of those had been performing a lot more than we expected during this time of the season because we started so late. We started at the end of June really getting the wheels rolling, but we wanted to make sure everything was in order. So the growth trends have significantly increased. So we have the rentals going out for about 300 a day right now.
Okay.
So that's going to be a ballpark for both of those vehicles. And we keep them rented almost every day of the month. There's only been a handful of days, but again, we started late in the season and then we didn't have the second car until towards the end of the season.
Okay.
The beautiful part about the SUV is we rent it through the winter because it's all-wheel drive.
Sure.
Adding that made the biggest difference. So we don't have to pull all the cars, in winter time, which is nice.
That is nice for sure. Now, you mentioned you had bookings into June of next year.
We do. We already have an entire week of June booked.
Okay.
So we already have a deposit we have secured. We have rents already. So we're going into next year already, in the green. So
That's helpful for suck into just the business because you don't have to start from scratch with nothing like where you started it with the business.
we're past the idea stage. We've established a reputation through our repeat clientele as well as Turo. We've maintained an all-star host status. So it took a lot of work to get there to where now Turo markets us.
Nice.
They place our vehicles because they're so unique at the front. So when anybody is coming to Minnesota or any one of our nearby locations, our vehicles pop up first when they're searching for exotics.
Okay, and so that's one of the unique things too about your businesses. You have a lot of locations you go and meet people at. You would bring that vehicle to them, and so anybody looking to purchase this can also have that flexibility too.
Absolutely. The flexibility, I would say, is one of the biggest words with the way this goes. You don't have to be at a physical location. You make money from the pickups and the drop-offs. You make money hoping that people drive more than the allotted miles that you get. There's a lot of ways that you make money in this business aside from just the rental.
Okay.
There's quite a bit of add-ons people can do where they'll rent strollers from you for the day if they have children, if they need a car seat. It's these little additives that go with the vehicle that broaden your demographic. So it's kind of nice. So having the flexibility for cars to be dropped off at any custom location is great.
Yeah.
Whether it's the airport or a location someone needs for a weekend or something like that, which it makes it really nice.
Definitely. And I think that's very, very nice for a new owner coming in. It's not like you have a building in one particular city, everybody comes there, and
Exactly.
that's not where you want your business. That's not a fit. But that isn't the way it works with this business.
That's true. You could very well pick up, and there are people who do this with the sleds in the wintertime. They'll take them from here, they'll trailer them to Montana and rent them out for a month or two. With a business like this, it's virtually the same. A lot of different ins and outs, but you could ideally take this business and go anywhere without losing a reputation, losing anything at all, because Turo will also be your funnel wherever you get to start generating leads from the city that you're opening it in.
And that's a really important thing too, because I know with different companies, like with the Airbnbs, that kind of reputation doesn't follow the new owner. However, with Turo, that reputation follows the new owner to the new owner.
We're under a business, so with Turo, we're not under an individual name. So we have our business Night Exotics, which is under Turo. So the business name remains the same. The website will be handed over. The list of clients will be handed over. Nothing will change.
Which is fantastic because that reputation you've built is huge. And the fact that Turo is promoting you now, that just makes it so turnkey for the next person looking to purchase it.
It does. And once you get your repeat client list coming in, they come to you and want to rent directly from you. They don't want to go through Turo and pay those extra fees. So you'll get those high-end clients that you're going to build a nice relationship with.
Sure.
You're going to know the things they like. You're going to know who these people are almost on a first-name basis all the time.
Okay.
So you always take care of them. When you're renting a car that's $200, $300, $700, $800 a day, you definitely want that repeat clientele.
Absolutely.
You want to take care of your people so that they continue to come back.
So that makes a lot of sense. So tell me about a typical day in the business as the owner.
To be honest, you never know who you're going to meet. You never know if it's going to be a car enthusiast, if it's going to be someone who, by happenstance, wanted to rent this vehicle and had no idea what it is. So you get to walk them through all the features and kind of watch their face light up and realize, oh my God, this is what I'm renting. So you meet great people. A typical day, if we are dropping off at the airport, which would be more often than most, we meet the clients depending on what the vehicle is. If it's a first-time client, we'll meet with them. We'll walk them through the vehicle, show them how everything operates. We make sure that the vehicle is clean and prepped and ready to go so that, when you pick up the vehicle, it's kind of how you would expect. You'd want it to be clean and nice and fresh. And, we give the red carpet treatment to everybody. So we walk them through everything, make sure they're comfortable, have them sit in the car, show them where all the features are and the buttons. The SUV has over 100 features in it, and we know about a quarter of them, and we're still learning. We want to show people the ones that they're going to be using the most, that makes it comfortable, so that when they're driving, they're not nervous and skittish, so that they can take off knowing that they're comfortable.
Yeah, I know I've rented a lot of cars in my life because I've done a lot of corporate travel, and you get in some of those vehicles and you're like, oh crap, where's the lights or where's the blinkers? And I don't know what blinkers are, but the little things that just to make sure that you can drive safely down the road. Okay. And so then to get yourself into a car like this, a step above too, and wanted to make sure.
We have to. If you're sitting there for 20 minutes trying to figure out how the Bluetooth works, it takes up a lot of time. You'd like to get in, go like it's your own vehicle, be comfortable, and have a good time. There's a lot of people rent these not for, economical, attributes or anything, but they rent them because they want to have fun. They want to have a good time. So the more comfortable you are, the better.
Absolutely. No, that's good. Let's see. How about growth opportunities? Let's talk about growth opportunities you've identified. Now, I know that there's something that you have done a lot of research for, which we don't want to get into the details of that here, but there's certainly growth in this market. Why don't you talk about that?
The level of growth, I could say, is limitless. It's going to be up to the person who is running it. It's going to be up to the risks you're willing to take. It's going to be up to the level of creativity you might have. But honestly, with this, it's 1 and 1 makes 3, and 3 and 3 makes almost 9 and 10 and so forth. This business, the more you add, the increased value you're going to have. And it's not just going to double and triple with every vehicle. It's going to significantly increase. You can go from a few $100s a day in rentals to a few $1,000s a day in rentals, depending on the car you have. You might add one vehicle and triple what you're renting for the day.
Oh, interesting.
So there's a lot of flexibility. The growth is limitless. You can have 50 cars, you can have 100 cars. We know some people in other states that have 30, 40 vehicles. The growth is limitless, pretty much.
Okay. This is kind of a dumb question, but I just am curious about this. When you take the vehicle from where you store them to like the airport, do you put them on like a flatbed, or do you just drive it out there?
No, that's the one time that we, as a company and anybody who's driving for us gets to really enjoy what it is we're doing, so we know what that customer is going to feel like. That client, we get to experience what they experience.